All right. Welcome to all my free minded friends. JR Dukes at your service. I appreciate each and every one of you joining me. We are getting connected right now with Facebook, looks like Twitch, and Twitter are all coming online. So I welcome everybody into our chat this evening. It's always my pleasure whenever you take time to visit me so we can have a conversation together. Please be sure, just a couple housekeeping things here, real quickly. Please be sure to put all of your comments in the comment box below. Let me know if you can hear me, by the way. I just want to make sure that the sound and everything is working. Looks like it's all looking good on my end. Everybody's starting to trickle in, so we'll go over a few housekeeping items while we wait for a few people to join us. So, what a busy week this has been, right? You've got so much stuff going on, and this is going to be a rather long campaign season, if you know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate y'all letting me know that you can hear me. Looks like everything's working the way it should. I personally love this software with StreamYard. They don't pay me anything to say that, but I will tell you I enjoy it. For a older guy, it's pretty easy for me to use, so I don't have any complaints about it. I was fortunate enough to grow up just as the computers were coming out back in the 80s, and so I kind of didn't really miss the curve as far as being computer literate. Good job, everybody. I appreciate you letting me know. Ray, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you dropping in. I've been talking with my new best friend, Ray. He's going to be kind enough to join us on a future podcast, a future live cast here coming up pretty quickly. All right. I appreciate everyone dropping in. I would pronounce some of the names, but I'm afraid I would butcher them. You definitely don't want to tune in here to hear me recite names because that is generally not going to end too well. Any rate, very busy, very exciting week. One thing I want to let you know about my channel too, you don't have to agree with me as far as the way I see things. The purpose of this channel is to have a dialogue. The purpose of the channel, as far as I'm concerned, is to put an end to indoctrination. I think too often, especially in the legacy media, we only hear things from one side, and it's generally a very sharp, bitter, divisive type of rhetoric that everybody uses. I'd much rather have a conversation. I definitely have opinions. My opinions are sharp, but I'm happy to listen to someone else's side because I only think that when you know the facts, when you understand the world that we live in, you can have a better life. As a matter of fact, that's pretty well my phrase that I say a lot is that when you understand the world we live in, you can live a better life. It's really just that simple. Oftentimes, we don't take time to think, why do I think the way I do? Why do I do what I do every day? And I try to narrowly focus this channel in the world of day to day events, specifically politics or anything that generally affects our lives. And right now, this being a campaign season, we have all the way to November to go. And there is a lot going on already. I mean, what a strong divisive time that we have right now in our country. And I don't see any sign of it stopping. You have to say one thing about Donald Trump, whether you love him or don't love him. This man has definitely made a lasting impact on the way our lives are going and probably for the foreseeable future. I think what's going on now with the politics and with all the tension is that I think personally that the legacy media, most of them are liberal. Let's just be honest about it. Most of the people that end up going into the teaching profession, most individuals that end up in the news media, the fact of the matter is statistically 97% of them are what we would call Democrat. And I would venture to say that a majority of those would probably be left Democrats, if you know what I'm getting at here. They're pretty well radically liberal. Not all of them, but definitely a high percentage of them. I mean, tell me, do you agree with that? Is that your understanding? Do you have friends that are teachers? I have 7 children, and I have 2 of them that are teachers, and my 2 sisters are educators. Their husbands are principals or some kind of role like that. And I can assure you, their politics vastly different than mine. I have no idea how I raised a crop of Democrats, but I did. Well, my one son is probably more like his dad is. But the reality is, it's just kind of funny. You raise your kids the exact same way, and they're not cookie cutter kids. They all are different, not so much on the political end of it. So the point is that when you have a news media, legacy media, and all they do is basically give you information from their perspective, you don't get to hear it from someone else. You don't get the other take. And I just think it's good intellectually for all of us to challenge ourselves and say, what is the other side? What is the point they're trying to make? And I think that is a good place to start to lower the temperature, if you will. Having said that, I want to be really clear about something. I do not think that there has been any time in our history more important than the time we have right now. This is not rhetoric. This is something I firmly believe. At 54 years of age, I, in my lifetime, have never seen a time where I actually worry about our country and our country going forward. The reason for this is because of the lawfare that's going on right now. In my mind, it has nothing to do with Donald Trump, although I generally support Donald Trump and most of what he does. I have issues with him just like most people. I don't think anybody has 100% fit for every subject that you can come up with. But my point is this. I worry that these liberal Democrats are trying to, or might accidentally even, destroy the country that we have all worked so hard to build. As I told you yesterday, I'm a patriot. I love our country. It's not perfect, but I'm telling you something. When I bleed, I promise you, it's red, white, and blue, and I love our country. I love our people. We have always been a divided people. That's just the way it is. But it is what it is. We're divided. All we can do is try to work through our differences. I worry that stress testing all of our agencies, let's just take Donald Trump and what's going on right now. The breaking news in the last hour is that the United States Supreme Court has told Jack Smith, which is, of course, the special prosecutor prosecuting that BS records case out of the Southern District of Florida. He has told Jack Smith, you have 1 week to go ahead and file your response to Donald Trump's emergency appeal to the Supreme Court. Now, why is this threatening the foundation of our country? Well, because you have special prosecutors, you have the weaponization of the Department of Justice. This Fani Willis case is a prime example of what I'm talking about. And it's all designed as de facto election interference. It can't be anything else. This has nothing to do with whether or not Donald Trump took records home. I mean, come on, let's be honest about it. This man at that time unilaterally can say these records are declassified. That's it. He could declassify anything he wants just by saying it's declassified. The only question is, did he ever say these records are declassified, or did he forget to say those magic words and then he ended up possessing that information illegally or disseminating it illegally? It just doesn't make sense. What is the rush for Jack Smith? Think about that. Why is he trying to get to trial so fast? Well, because he's trying to scar the president in such a way with a felony to where other people may not vote for the president. That's what this is all about, and that's exactly what's going on. And I think most people understand that's what's going on. To me, it's just crystal clear. I can't believe that we are allowing these people to get away with this. It's just absolutely shocking to me. But I want to get on the Fani Willis case here. Let me take one more look at our comments here, and we will go through that. I wanted to, hey, JR Mitchelling, it's good to see you, young man. All right. And then we got Elizabeth Ray. Thank you for your comments. Okay. We also have, I wanted to mention from yesterday too, I wanted to thank my new best friend, which a couple new best friends. You guys were very kind. I appreciate the donations from Don Frank and from Matt Smith. You guys are very kind, and I appreciate you. Obviously, I do not do this to make money. I do it because I enjoy it. However, any type of super chats or anything like this that are given are appreciated because it definitely goes to the funding of the channel. It pays for the software, this type of stuff. So at any rate, that is all appreciated. Now, we're going to start diving into the Fani Smith situation. Yesterday, she lost big time in front of the court there in Fulton County. Now, remember, for y'all that may not know or a little bit unclear about it, Fani Willis is the acting Fulton County district attorney. She is the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia. She decided that she's going to go ahead and bring this RICO action, which was designed for mobsters. It was designed for individuals basically that were the heads of huge crime families. That's how they ended up getting this type of stuff passed. And of course, like any type of law that we end up passing, it has a tendency to be misused and misappropriated. And of course, Fani Willis decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out the leading contender for president of the United States. And at the same time, I'm going to make a name for myself, get famous, get into the history books. And I'm going to go ahead and become wealthy. How am I going to become wealthy? I'm going to become wealthy by proxy because I'm going to enrich my boy toy, my boyfriend, my paramour, and I'm going to enjoy vacations and whatever else the evidence is going to show from this day forward. And published reports have shown that he has already been paid approximately $724,000 up to $1 million for his efforts. The video I think I showed yesterday and a video that I think I have one coming out in the morning, which is part 3 of my Nathan Wade series, showing just how incompetent this guy is. How can I prove that he's incompetent? I show you step by step in court exactly what he has said to the judge, exactly how he has acted. He does not know the difference in a special grand jury, or what we call a special purpose grand jury, versus a regular grand jury. And he said that to the judge. I thought the judge was going to fall off the bench. Lucky for him, this judge is very soft-spoken, very polite, and was bending over backwards to help this guy out. Remember, there are 8 attorneys plus Nathan Wade prosecuting this fake so-called RICO case. Racketeering, internally corrupt organizations, I believe, is the acronym for this. It's just really shocking that this is happening. It almost feels like I'm in a legal twilight zone, if you will. And it appears, I think what's going to happen is this, because I'm reading between the lines and I'm reading other reports that I have found. Also, I have seen things, let's just say there are other videos that are on the internet at different, let's just say different places. And these videos clearly show, in my estimation, a pattern of this type of behavior between Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. There are tapes from 11 Alive News showing Nathan Wade years ago, like it was either 2019, 2020, showing all kinds of issues that were coming up pertaining to government contracts and monies that he was paid. He was playing a game with a reporter, and the reporter was saying, well, where's your work product you were paid all this money for? And he was saying, oh, it's right here. It's in my mind. It's in my brain. Because, of course, when there's a work product produced, it can be subpoenaed. You know, it's just tricks and just garbage and just nastiness that these people have been getting away with. My understanding, again, is this has been what we call water cooler talk. They have apparently been engaging in these type of schemes and, you know, getting a little money here and a little money there. And, of course, if you're going to do that and you want to get away with that type of behavior, I got a clue for you. Don't go after one of the most powerful men in the world, because I'm telling you, if you cast stones and you live in a glass house, you're probably going to have a problem. I mean, just think about it. Why would you do that? You got a good racket going on. You're making good money. You're the head of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. You got yourself your own boy toy. I mean, not a good idea to sit around and just make stuff up. I mean, that's just not good. But at any rate, today's news. Fani Willis is going to have to testify despite her best efforts. I mean, she went to the judge and she was throwing a fit. We're going to look at the paperwork today. Also, boy toy Nathan Wade will also have to attend the hearing. Now, the judge is going to allow them to be a couple of the last people that are interviewed, or that he will make a final decision at the very end. But this is going forward. And the way the judge wants this trial, it's like a mini trial to start off, it's technically a hearing, is he wants Ashley Merchant, who is the attorney representing Michael Roman. As we discussed, Michael Roman is one of the minor players in this RICO action, but he is turning out to be a superstar along with his attorney, Ashley Wade. And I just love this woman. You know how much I love her. I've read your comments, and I know a lot of you are having a love affair with her, just like I am. I mean, she not only is she physically beautiful, but she's just stunningly intelligent. And what a great stroke of intelligence she had to go ahead, look through the Cobb County records online, type in the name of Nathan Wade, and boom, guess what? There's a divorce action pending for Nathan Wade. And he just miraculously decides to go forward with this action, according to published reports, the day after he inks a contract with Fulton County DA Fani Willis, who hired him without going to the board. That is normally a prerequisite before she hires someone as a special prosecutor. She went ahead and did it anyways. It's just rather amazing that these people have been able to get away with this type of junk all these years. But at any rate, it's going to come back to bite them. They're going to have to be at this hearing on the 15th, which I believe is Thursday. By the way, public service announcement, if you have not taken care of your loved one, you might want to do that. And remember, Valentine's Day is tomorrow, so just FYI. So another interesting thing happened is that Fani Willis has been playing, let's just say, fast and loose with some of the requests made of her by the U.S. House of Representatives under Representative Jordan. They are investigating her for misappropriation of funds. They allegedly gave the Fulton County District Attorney's Office funds that were specifically to be used for some kind of children's endeavor, some type of children that needed help, or it was like disadvantaged children, whatever. It was earmarked for that. And according to whistleblowers, and more than one now, that's the other big news of the day, it is a line of people coming forward. And I just don't mean people. We're going to look at the video here in a minute. It's just not anybody. It's, for example, it's the former attorney, divorce attorney of Nathan Wade's. It's also like a former friend, former employees, whatever. Have you ever noticed when these stories come out, when people commit these types of acts, have you ever noticed that when someone breaks that dam, it just kind of like, boom, it snowballs. And the more they try to hide their malfeasance, the more they end up getting in trouble. And that leads me to the third point I want to make about what's going on. This has some serious criminal liability for Fani Willis and Nathan Wade. And the reason why is because of nothing else but perjury. They are in my opinion, they're in the process, if they haven't done so already, committing perjury. Why are they committing perjury? Well, Fani Willis has said that she is having a personal relationship with Nathan Wade. Now, again, I think that's playing with words, similar to the way Bill Clinton played with words back during the Monica Lewinsky situation. He said something to the effect of, well, that depends on what the definition of is, that type of stuff. But we'll have to see how that plays out. But clearly, she's admitting a personal relationship, and so is Nathan Wade. The funny thing is this: in Nathan Wade's divorce, he signed an affidavit, which is the same thing as giving sworn testimony. It's punishable by perjury. He said that he had not had a sexual relationship or been with a woman or lived with a woman prior to a certain date that he was supposed to be with his wife, Joycelyn Wade. He has since went back to his affidavit and he's amended that particular affidavit. The funny thing is, with amending that affidavit, his answer is this. So get this. Here's his answer. I plead the Fifth Amendment. Can you believe that? I plead the Fifth Amendment. He's not going to answer the question. So you're going to, I want to cut to the chase here. What you're going to see, so here's my prediction. We'll just see how right I am or how wrong I am. If Nathan Wade and Fani Willis take the stand, what's going to happen is you're going to have a prosecutor, the lead prosecutor for the state, and the elected district attorney for Fulton County get on the stand and look at the judge, look at whoever, and say, I plead the Fifth Amendment pursuant to the U.S. Constitution, and I will not be answering this question. Wow. Wow, that is just unbelievable. Again, my prediction, this case is dead. If the judge doesn't kill it Thursday, it's just going to slowly die. It's just that simple. It cannot go forward. Even Fani Willis herself claims that one of the main reasons she had to hire Nathan Wade was because Nathan Wade was the only specialist, the only RICO expert, to use her words, that could handle this case, or more importantly, was willing to handle the case, because everybody knows this case is trash. This case is nothing but a disguise of, and a poor disguise of, let's just say it's just what it is. It's election interference. They are so desperate to get Trump. They are so desperate to put a stop to Trump that they don't want you, they don't want me to vote for Donald Trump. They know if they do not stop him, that in all likelihood he's going to be the next president of the United States. So they are engaging in this lawfare. They're trying to do everything and anything they can to stop this man. It's just absolutely unbelievable. So tell me what you think about it. Put it in the comments below, and let me take a quick peek at these comments, and then we're going to go right to the video. My new best friend Ray say both Trident bumps should be out of this race simply on the records case. I worked in top secret in the Navy. People got kicked out and lost everything. You know, a lot of people feel that way, Ray. You know, and you make an interesting point too, because as y'all probably know by now, Joe Biden has done exactly the same thing that they have indicted and are prosecuting heavily Donald Trump for. Not only that, you realize a former president of the United States had his home raided. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the FBI coming down your street, going through your front door without your permission, obviously, and they just start going through anything and everything in your home? And I know what you're thinking. Oh, there had to be evidence because a judge authorized it, a judge signed the subpoena. I don't want to get off on this tangent. I'm telling you from attorney friends I have, from just experiences I've seen in life, the big misnomer, the big lie is that it takes a certain degree of evidence, a high standard of evidence for a judge to sign a search warrant. It doesn't work like that, folks. That's not the real world. In the real world, the police know who to go to get a warrant signed. It's just that easy. Imagine you live in a nice, comfy cul-de-sac in some subdivision. You got a nice, plush house. You got a wife. You got kids. You got it going on, and your neighbors know you have it going on. You got your law degree. You're a judge. You handle cases on and off. Well, think of it this way. At 3 a.m, they need something signed. If they know you're a difficult judge to get something signed, they're not going to mess with you. But imagine this. The police drive down your street, pull into your house, they get out, shake your hand like you're some kind of hero to save the day. You go ahead and sign the warrant. Your wife thinks you're a hero. Your kids look up at you at all. Your neighbors think you got it all together. And you look like the superhero. You look like you're important. You look like you're all that because the police need you. You're doing an important job for us all. You're here to save America. And this is just the way these people think, and they take the warrant and they execute the warrant. That's all it takes. If a former president of the United States can have his home raided, you, me, we don't stand a chance. The former president's attorney, one of his main attorneys, the guy's name escapes me right now. I have the video on my site. If you go there, I forgot the name of the video, but it's clearly marked. His former attorney literally had the FBI meet him in a parking lot. They're very professional, obviously. They hand him papers. Say, sir, we have a search warrant for your phone. They put his hands behind him, put him handcuffed, grab his phone. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, well, he's got a passcode. They're not going to, well, wrong. They take the phone, they hold it up to his face. Say, sir, look this way, please. The phone unlocks. They got everything they need. They say, thank you, sir. They take the cuffs off and they're gone with his phone. By the way, don't use facial ID if you don't want that to happen to you over something. Something to think about. That's the way it works in the real world. So you heard it here. You heard it here first. Okay, back on it here. Enough talk about media analysis company she hired to see how much blood she. Yeah, okay, I got you. So sad to see people with hands on. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it is, Stephen. Alrighty, Willis has made, and by the way, I support and love our police. I don't want anybody to ever misunderstand that. I have family members that are police officers. Our police are a definite need in our society, and we need to stand behind them and support them. But like anything, there are problems. We need to make sure that the police are well funded, well taken care of, and at the same time, we have to have a certain amount of accountability from them because none of us want to have our rights violated. It's just that simple. So, any rate, we got Willis has made the statement has made the statement this Donald Trump case is a career changer. For sure it is. Willis didn't think she would get caught with her hands on the cookie jar. I'm so happy to. Yeah, I am too. She's hopefully going to get what she's got coming. A lot of people don't know this either, and that is that Fani Willis and Letitia James out of New York City, they both ran when they ran for office. They both ran on a platform to get Trump. They made it really clear and really direct. If you elect me, I'm going to take this guy out. A lot of people don't know that about Fani Willis. It doesn't seem something wrong with our society to where a prosecutor, attorney general, whomever, a solicitor, district attorney can run on a platform that I'm going to take somebody out. I'm going to put him in a cage for you. I'm going to take this guy if you elect me, and I'm going to take all of his finances from him, and I'm going to put this guy in a cage for you. Just elect me. That just gives me chills to even say it, much less think about it. That is just wrong. I mentioned yesterday the United States is basically the only country that I know of that's a modern industrial country that allows a prosecutor, AG, solicitor to arbitrarily by themselves say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and prosecute so and so. Most countries like Israel, they have another position of a person that's my understanding is the person is appointed for life, and essentially you have to go to that person and show them why they should be an indictment brought forward. To me, it sounds like a good idea because we have up until now trusted our DAs, our prosecutors, our AGs to use what we call prosecutorial discretion, if I can get the word out correctly, to make sure that they use their own better judgment, not to allow justice to be a weapon, not to allow lawfare. You probably have seen the symbol of justice where justice is blind. She has some kind of blindfold on. Well, there's a reason for that, folks, because justice is supposed to be blind. That's taken from the New Testament in the Bible. Justice is supposed to be blind. It is. It's just a founding principle of our modern society. So, Matt Smith, attorney, having to testify. Yeah, an attorney having to testify as a witness. It does happen. So my friend JR helping underage gang members. Yeah. All right. And Charles, do you think that the judge, so far the judge looks like he's pretty fair. Obviously, he's aware that he's under a microscope and that this trial is a trial that is of a world interest, much less, just a national interest. It's worldwide. Clearly, by my observations, he's really trying hard to be fair, to look fair, but he also does not seem afraid to make the hard decisions because he told the prosecution yesterday. He's like, I see, and you'll see it in the video here in a minute. I see a problem with what's going on, and I don't like it. There is obvious evidence, and if it turns out to be true, at a minimum, this DA Fani Willis, Nathan Wade will have to be removed. And I'm paraphrasing, but essentially that was his words. So thank you, Charles, for that. And then Matt, I hope Nathan's old partner doesn't have a heart. Yeah, no doubt. I totally agree. Yeah, we hope that we get a fair trial. Judge worked for the district attorney's office. Oh, well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I'm not really surprised. In the legal community, you have a lot of people that know each other. We're going to look at, if time allows, we're going to look at a picture of Ashley Merchant, one of my favorite attorneys in the world now, where she actually has a Nathan Wade shirt on, where she was supporting Nathan Wade at a Greek festival at the Marietta Square in Cobb County. And of course, Fani Willis tries to use this against her. It failed, but it's just some interesting ties. All these people are colleagues. All these people work together. So there's no, in my mind, there's nothing shocking about that. See, it's not like you're teetering along the lines of bashing. No, I don't think so, Ray, but we'll talk about it. I call it like I see it, my friend. If I see the police are wrong about something, I don't think you'll see me teeter much. I'll give you my opinion about something and just put it point blank. If I don't like something, I don't care who doesn't like it. I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. Just that simple. Hello, to Annette. I think that's how you say your name, right? Annette. Hope I didn't butcher it. Sorry, Ann. We'll go with that. Yes, Charles Trump. Let's hope so. Yeah, Ray, on that locker up stuff, it is something that's funny, like with Hillary at the, what was it? He'd have a campaign and, you screaming locker. It's funny at the moment, but in hindsight, it's not really funny. I don't like it when they were doing it to Hillary Clinton, And I definitely don't like it with what they're trying to do to Donald Trump. It's just not right. And we should do better. I will also say this: Trump is the only one that's being prosecuted for this type of behavior. Remember, he had the ability to just simply say that all of these records are hereby declassified. He doesn't necessarily have to sign anything. The law just allows him to speak into existence. This is declassified. That's the end of the story. But all of this money that's being spent, all of this effort to go after him, to make him look like the worst menace, is really just shocking. The crimes that the special prosecutor, Jack Smith, has charged him with, surprisingly, is not insurrection. The crimes he's charged him with, as best I remember it, it has to do with felonious obstruction. And one of my good attorney friends told me a long time ago that whenever you see an obstruction charge, it's always a, let's just say, BS charge. You can fill in the blanks right there. Obstruction is something the government will use when they really want to take you down and they're not exactly sure what crimes they should charge you with. And then, shockingly, the other crime Jack Smith has charged him with has something to do borderline treason. Can you imagine that? That's essentially what it is. It's like a treason charge. You have Hillary Clinton that literally wiped a server that was unsecured in her basement. You had records. When they started looking for records, they found records at George W. Bush's residence. They found records at Obama's residence. They definitely found records at Biden's residence. We all seen pictures of that. One thing, too, that is different about the Biden case versus Trump case, and this is important to remember, Trump never did any of that for money. Yet Biden, if the allegations are true, according to the special prosecutor, he was working with a ghostwriter on a book, and Biden allegedly shared information with this ghostwriter that was classified, confidential, and he did it for reasons of making money. Now, that is treason. I know that may sound overblown, but that's exactly what he did. He had a ghostwriter and he shared the information, and the reason he shared the information was to make money. You may not have thought about it like that, but that is the reality, my friend. That's exactly what it boils down to. So, let's see. Yeah, Charles, the banana republic is a real thing. Normally these type of words and stuff like that, I try to stay away from. But what else do you call it, folks, when the party in power has decided to weaponize the government directly and with their cronies, with their assignees, by proxy, whatever you want to fill in the blank there, in an effort to take down their biggest rival, their biggest competitor. This exact thing is going on in Russia right now, today. Again, I have a video where this very attractive blonde-headed lady is trying to run against President Putin. She is running on a platform of anti-Ukraine war. And she went before a tribunal and they simply said, "I'm sorry, your paperwork is not in order." Does that sound familiar? Trying to take someone out by simply saying you don't qualify, like the Secretary of State in Maine. She just looked very very vain, she just had a certain degree of hubris, didn't she? She just thought she was all that. She just looked in the camera and on behalf of 330,000 Maine voters, she just said, "I can unilaterally decide that Mr. Trump should not appear on our ballot." Absolutely crazy. Thanks, Charles, for that comment. And then, Kim, there are two layers. One is the conduct and lies, and the other is the church speech. Added together, the scale tips. Well, I think that's a good way to look at it. I will say about the church situation involving Fani Willis, I got a word for you: blaspheming. That's exactly what that was. What kind of church allows their pulpit to be used by somebody to blaspheme God? And I don't know about you, when I go to church on Sunday, the preacher's trying to direct my soul to heaven. He's trying to help me live better, live right. I don't ever remember seeing a politician in that situation and crying out to God that she's being a victim of race. She was elected the Fulton County District Attorney, but she's a victim of racism. And it's just obscene. And, the thing is, folks, in our society, and I will talk about this eventually, but in our society, if you look like me and someone says racism, most white people just shut up because they're scared, because they're afraid of being labeled a racist. We just use that word too loosey-goosey now. And it's a shame. It is terrible and it's not right. I like the words of Chief Justice John Roberts. He said, if you want to stop having a society that's essentially boxed and we put people in these boxes by the color of their skin. Again, I'm paraphrasing. He said the best way to stop that, and I thought this was a great idea. What he proposed was if you want to stop this behavior, then stop putting people in boxes by the color of their skin and treating people differently because of the color of skin. Wow, what a novice, unique, amazing concept, right? If we want to stop it, just stop it. It's just that simple. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Charles. See. All right. Maybe Fanny will resign and wait before Thursday. That is a good idea. That's a good possibility. I have not heard that because she has really went all off concerning that. She's been very adamant that no, I'm not going to resign. No, I'm not stepping down. She's one of these right fighters, just like in church. Lord, I'm right. These people coming after me. I'm the victim here. She all but lied up there on the stand too. She gave us the impression that her and Nathan Wade had no type of relationship, but oh well. She's the one's got to answer for that behavior, not me. Yeah, Ray. Let's see. He could have, but he was on recording saying they were still classified. Yeah, well, I agree. It looks bad. I'm not saying it doesn't look bad, Ray. I'm not saying that. But in a court of law, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the man shared classified information. My understanding is he just held it up and said, this is classified. He did not turn it over to him. I will tell you, as I've said before, I'm not an attorney. I have been around a lot of legal venues, a lot of lawyers are friends of mine. There is a theory in the law, and I cannot recall it off the top of my head, but essentially, if you act like something, the court assumes something. So what I'm leading to is this. If you have a bunch of records and you have the ability, and see, Biden didn't have that ability. The records he has, he took when he was a senator or something like that. He does not have the ability to declassify like Donald Trump had at that time. But basically, if you have something and you act like it's declassified, you treat it like it's declassified, the courts are going to assume that that was your intent. He had the ability to declassify it. No one disputes that. It looks like he declassified it by all, it's kind of like it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, blah, blah, blah. Well, I meant, right? Doesn't that kind of make sense to you? And as far as this immunity stuff too, it does sound terrible. Oh, this man has complete immunity. Well, it's not that ridiculous when you think about it because police have complete immunity. They have sovereign immunity. Judges have complete immunity. You cannot sue a judge. If you do, it would just be tossed out. The legislature, they have complete absolute immunity. So this is not a novel concept. As a matter of fact, the Supreme Court back in the early 70s, I believe the cases were all related to Richard Nixon, basically said as much, at least in a civil context. They said you just can't sue a president civilly for his official acts or for conduct while he was in office. Now, the question pertaining to criminal liability is a little loosey-goose. I'm not sure exactly how the court is going to rule on that. It is a very difficult thing to rule on. My best guess is going to be they're going to say something like if the president at the time thought it was reasonable and it had something to do with his actions in office, then they're just going to have to take a wide field and say you're covered. If they don't, then you're going to have what's happening to Donald Trump continue happening to almost every president that is not liked once he leaves office. I mean, think about that. Is that what we want? Do you think that is going to attract good, qualified, solid candidates to office? Or do you think a candidate that runs the risk of losing everything they've ever worked for, everything they've ever acquired in their life, their good name is going to be destroyed, their assets are going to be taken, and they're going to be put in a cage? Do you think people are going to sign up for that? I mean, sign me up for that, right? That's what you're thinking too? Yeah, sign me up for that. Hell no, don't sign me up for that. I don't want nothing to do with that. That's just only an insane person would sign up for that. That's just there's no good deal there, if that's the way that they allowed the law to be. They were asking this stupid question in front of the judge panel, the Court of Appeals. Well, if President ordered SEAL Team 8 to kill somebody, would he be covered? It's one of these weird questions that they normally do ask these type of questions. That is true, but it was a gotcha question. In my opinion, the attorney representing Trump did a terrible job in answering the question. What they should have answered is something like I just said, that if it has to do with his presidential job, yes, he would be covered. In that situation, he would not be covered because there's no scenario in which taking out your adversary is ever going to be okay. To me, it's not that difficult of a question. Do you agree? Let me know. Put in the comments below. I'm going through them real quick here. Let me know if you agree or if you have if you see it the way that I see it here. So let me find out where we're at here. All right, save America. Trump is fighting against the powers that be that have for a long time been step by step destroying our nation without telling the people. Amen, brother. Ken, there is no way she shows up. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Ken. We'll see. We will see. All right. Thank you for the wave. I appreciate that. And you're right that we are living in an extremely perilous time, but I submit that the Civil War was extreme. Yeah, I mentioned that yesterday. Those of y'all that were tuned in yesterday, and we're going to go ahead and move over to the video now. But y'all that listened to me yesterday, I made that exact point. I had someone the other day say something to me about, man, isn't it just terrible what's going on now? I mean, the times we're living in now, it's just terrible what's going on, and we're so divided, and it's so depressing. You have to take a breather, and you have to understand we've always been a divided people. You may or may not know this. Most of the countries on earth are no different than we are. Spain has a movement where they are trying to split that country apart. Every country, if you understand the politics of the country, generally have some kind of issues similar to what I just described in Spain, or similar to divisive policies, the divisive thinking like we do. That is not something that's unusual. And I want to point something out. If you think things are bad right now, I would invite you to think about living back in 1860, 61, 62. It would really seem bad then, because what you do back then is you get up, you grab your sword, and you go next door and try to gut your neighbor. I know that may be a little graphic, so I'll back down a little bit, but you get the idea. That's what was going on in the Civil War. I mean, what a terrible, terrible thing that experience would have been. So whenever you think things are that bad or that terrible, you just have to think back to the way things used to be. We are actually very fortunate, and we are very blessed people. And I believe our country is a very special country, blessed by God, and that we are meant to do great things. And I hope we continue to do such. So anyway, let's get into the first video here. And this is from today. I was mentioning to you about these whistleblowers that are coming forward. It started with a trickle with this one lady that approached Fani Willis in her office. She had the presence of mind to record the conversation. She ended up getting fired approximately 30 days, let's say 30 days ish later. So we'll see exactly what happened. And again, the speculation is she was fired because she was a whistleblower. And of course, that's a violation of federal law, probably state law. And that's another reason why the federal government is looking into her. So let's go ahead and listen to this, and then we'll talk about it.
We're also learning new information this morning about Fulton County DA Fani Willis and her affair with a member of the team prosecuting former President Donald Trump. Republican lawmakers say several whistleblowers are eager to come forward and testify that Willis misused state and federal funds. Now, an emergency hearing is scheduled for this week. News Nation's Elizabeth Cran joins us live from Atlanta. Elizabeth, what do we know about these whistleblowers? Any idea who they are?
Yeah, no, we don't know who they are. We did hear from the lawmakers on Friday, and they told us that they have these whistleblowers. They tell us that they have quite a few of them who are eager. So two things working against the DA. not only the state lawmakers with those alleged whistleblowers, but also lawyers say they have proof that she was lying before this trial or these allegations ever began. So Ashley Merchant is the prosecuting attorney here. She claims that the affair with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade began long before this racketeering case. And she says that's contrary to an official affidavit just about a week ago from Willis. So she writes in part, this is a motion that was filed on Friday. Since Willis and Wade were not forthright about their relationship in the first instance, there is no reason to believe they are telling the truth now. So Merchant represents Michael Roman. He is one of the co-defendants with former President Donald.
This is Michael Roman. He's the guy that had the presence of mind to hire Ashley Merchant, the attorney who you saw the quote from. And Ashley Merchant, man, she is a pit bull. I love her to death, as I have been saying repeatedly. Remember, Fani Willis, Fani Willis did not have to indict Michael Roman. Michael Roman, as a matter of fact, the grand jury would not return a bill of indictment against him. However, Fani Willis decided, she's driving the car, and she decided, oh, I'll just go ahead and run his rear end over anyways. I don't care. So she brought an indictment against him. Isn't that kind of ironic how that works? And then as things work out in life, it turns out that this guy is going to be the start of the reason of her undoing. I personally think the justice here is sweet, and I'm glad.
Trump. She says she has a paper trail to prove it. She says she has plane tickets. She has bank statements. She says she has documents that claims Wade has billed Willis at least $728,000 in legal fees so far. The DA's office is obviously trying to dismiss the evidentiary hearing that you mentioned. That's scheduled for this Thursday. But pressure is growing on her by the day. We are hearing from State Senator Bill Cowsert. He is spearheading that. Claims that he has multiple employees who are eager to take the stand. He met with reporters on Friday saying, you lose the confidence of the public in the fairness of our criminal justice system if they think prosecutors are engaging in prosecution so their lovers can get rich and they can share the benefits of that. He went on to say this is not a witch hunt, but Marquita's investigation is falling up and down party lines in the state Senate here. State Congress rather. And I will say that this panel does not have the power to remove the DA, but they do have the power of the purse because obviously the district attorney's office is funded by the state. So there is quite a lot at risk here. I mentioned that evidentiary hearing is scheduled for this Thursday.
Yeah, this is the story that keeps growing new legs every week. Elizabeth.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly, the story that continues to give, because that's exactly correct. It seems like every time I turn on the TV, turn on YouTube, I don't guess I really watch that much TV anymore, but every time something happens or the news cycle changes day to day, there is something new pertaining to Fani Willis. And it's indicative. I mean, how many times have we seen that where something like this happens and it's kind of like a death by 1,000 cuts? I mean, it's just the way it goes. Listen to this real quick. This is by Atlanta News First. I kind of like their reporting too. They have some good reports on here, but let's take a quick peek at this because they are going to tell you exactly who is supposed to show up at this hearing Thursday.
In 72 hours, a key witness will testify about the Fulton County DA's romantic relationship with a special prosecutor. That Thursday hearing will decide whether Fani Willis and Nathan Wade stay on the historic Georgia election case against Donald Trump and his allies. Atlanta News First, Tori Cooper joins us from the Fulton County Courthouse. So, Tori, it's still up in the air if Willis or Wade will also be called to testify.
Alan, after a very lengthy court hearing today, Judge McAfee ultimately decided that he still needs to hear from Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade's former law partner, Terrence Bradley, who is going to testify about the relationship between DA Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade.
The defense is not bringing you facts. The defense is not bringing you law. The defense is bringing you gossip.
Attorney Anna Cross, representing the Fulton County DA's office, says defendants are basing their claims of when Fani Willis and Nathan Wade's relationship began off hearsay.
Even if all of the allegations were true, and they're not.
This woman that you see on your screen right now, this is Miss Cross, Anna Cross. She's actually the attorney representing Fani Willis in her office, and she's trying to, what they call it, quashing. This is a quash motion that was heard yesterday, and she's arguing before the judge with Ashley Merchant and others present. So I just want you to know who the players are here.
That is not a basis to either dismiss the indictment or disqualify the district attorney's office.
Willis and Wade claim they did not have a romantic relationship before Willis appointed Wade as special prosecutor. But tonight, defense attorney Ashley Merchant told the court the timeline is not matching up with the evidence.
There's our hero right there, Ashley Merchant. Just love her to death.
The relationship predated Mr. Wade being hired as special counsel.
Merchant claims the testimony of Nathan Wade's former law partner, Terrence Bradley, will refute the timeline of the relationship.
While it's very awkward to call someone just a liar, that's what's happening. It's the legal equivalency of that.
Judge McAfee ruled Bradley will have to testify in Thursday's hearing to determine if Wade and Willis are off the Rico case. Expert attorney Josh Schiffer says this could make things worse for DA Willis.
And that brings up some very serious allegations that could include perjury. It is never a good position to be considered by a court to have misled the court or to have had a filing with notable inconsistencies.
Now, Judge McAfee ultimately decided that he still wants to hear from others close to Willis and Wade. And this all comes as the Washington Post is sharing new reporting tonight that former President Donald Trump may potentially attend the hearing here in Fulton County that is scheduled to take place on Thursday. We will, of course, be covering.
All right. Well, this hearing pertaining to Donald Trump, they have decided against that, probably wisely. The report I heard before going live was Donald Trump is going to go to New York City to attend or what's that guy's name? Erdogan. That's his name. That Judge Erdogan. I call him Judge Nudie. He's the one that's got semi-nude pics all over the internet. And this dork is going to be the guy that's going to decide whether or not Donald Trump can even have a business ever again in New York City. Just absolutely crazy and amazing. But I don't want to go off on that tangent. We will be talking about that in the days and weeks to come. I can assure you of that. As a resident of the great state of Florida, I know all about how properties are valued here. These people don't know what they're talking about. And again, it's really a shame. Let's hit a few of these. Let's hit a few of these comments real quick. Carrie, it's always the darkest. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. That's a great saying. Good way to look at it. My buddy Ray again. It's both of you, though. Both parties. These parties are what's separating us. Social media is simply, yeah, I think you're right, Ray. I agree. I think sometimes we do get too much social media. If you are a person that has a tendency to have a lot of stress, a lot of worries, you probably want to limit your social media intake. As a matter of fact, my strict recommendation in all due candor would be just to listen to my channel exclusively, and I'll keep you informed without the stress. So, but you are right, my friend. All right. And I don't want to I want to still align. Who is lawmakers? Okay. Thank you, Ray. And then Kim Griffith, we need to stress to our friends to take this case in totality. The entire MSM is avoiding the church speech that is much worse than the conduct. And yeah, I agree. They definitely don't want to talk much about what happened at church. What was that? The A&E church, or I forgot the name of the church, but whatever it was, that was just terrible. I think I'm more upset about that than a lot of the things I've been reporting on with this particular case. So I want to finish our time together because I don't like to go over an hour. So we have just a little bit of time left together. I try to keep our visits together roughly about an hour, unless there's some kind of extended coverage that I'm trying to dive into. But I do want to show you these motions that were filed in relation to this case. And the reason I want to do that is I think it's just interesting to look at, because this one that we're going to look at right now is actually an affidavit from our friend. Here we go. Where they actually admit the affair. And I like the way that they word this. I'm going to try to blow this up so you can read along with me on this. This is Exhibit A from the documentation that the state filed. And I'm going to briefly read through this. It says, personally appealed before me, the undersigned, officer duly authorized to administer oath Nathan J. Wade, who after being duly sworn, so this is under penalty of perjury. He goes on Nathan Wade, over 18. I live in Georgia. He says, I, Nathan J. Wade, have been a member in good standing with the state bar since 1999. I'm admitted, and he goes through his credentials. I have served as prosecutor several times in my career, first as assistant solicitor general in Cobb County, then as special assistant attorney general. These credentials are overblown. I cannot find anything, and to date, he has not produced any proof, to my knowledge, that he has ever prosecuted a felonious case. These titles are nothing but, what's the word, hyperbole? They're just fluff. They're just bluff. And the reason for that is this. Anytime you take a case, an assignment, no matter how inconsequential, no matter how little, no matter how trivial, and it is something you do on behalf of the state, you by definition can say, and you become, quote unquote, an assistant attorney general. So it sounds impressive, but in my book, it's not that impressive. And this situation with him being a judge, this is also something that is highly overblown. And my experience, my experiences have been that basically it is a situation where they're filling in for a lower court judge that may be on vacation, that might be sick, whatever the situation is. They're generally handling tickets. Have you ever seen the movie Night Court? Matter of fact, I think they have a newer Night Court on right now. It's pretty well, he's like on an episode of Night Court. Again, just my opinion. You have to make your own opinion up here. He talks about number 6, that I've opened up my own law practice in 2000. In his divorce filings from his soon-to-be ex-wife, Joycelyn Wade, they have reached a tentative deal, but it's not over until it's over. That I can absolutely assure you. She has alleged for quite some time now that Nathan Wade has been hiding the money, and basically Fani Willis has been spending her money. It wasn't until all this stuff started leaking and hitting the fan, if you know what I'm saying, that she was even made aware that he was on an episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in the Fani Willis Fulton County District Attorney's Office. But that's exactly the game that was being played. Joycelyn Wade also claims that she was effectively less destitute. He's been married to this woman 26 years. Can you believe that? And then she's left destitute, and she alleges that he's been playing, let's just call it a game of hide the sausage, because he's been changing company names. And I have found records that state exactly what I just said. He is changing company names. Allegedly, he's doing things to where he is engaging in behavior that is indicative of somebody that is trying to hide assets, as a lot of people typically try to do when they're getting a divorce, especially a divorce from a longtime spouse, because they know it's going to be expensive and painful. So he goes on talking about his creds, and I believe it's number 10 where he actually makes the admission that I want us to take a look at. He says, I was retained as outside counsel to represent Sheriff of Cobb County. He's paid $5.50 an hour. I began serving as municipal court judge. I received presidential award. He hides it in here somewhere. Over the course of my legal career, I received dozens of accolades. It's just funny how they put this pages back. This is like page 32, where he admits to he's having a personal, here it is right here, number 17, while presenting at a training course for new municipal court judges in October 2019, I met Fani T. Willis, the love of my life. No, I'm just adding that. Never mind. Then the newly appointed chief judge of the city of South Fulton, after being elected as the first female district attorney in the Atlanta Judicial Circuit 20, the district attorney Willis asked me to serve on her transition team. He's kind of drawn it out here. He's trying to get around to it. And let's see, this is number 21. He's talking about the district attorney and other lawyers approached me in October 22 and October 2021 upon further consideration of the unique professional challenge this case, but I agreed to serve as prosecutor. Basically, he's trying to say, and this is what's going to get him in trouble, and that's what all these news reports have been about. He's claiming herein that it was just a personal relationship that he had after he already started to serve with her. The problem with this is there's going to be people there that have seen them together, have seen them cohabitate, Here it is here, number 26. All right, listen to these words. He's playing with words here. While professional associates and friends since 2019, there was no personal relationship between District Attorney Willis and me prior to or at the time of my appointment as special prosecutor in 2021. In 2022, District Attorney Willis and I developed a personal relationship in addition to our professional association and friendship. That almost makes me tear up. Oh, I got it. Never mind. To me, it read like a love story. I thought I was reading like a love story. It's kind of like something out of Romeo and Juliet. You know, I mean, I don't know. Give me a minute. I'm sorry if I had to compose myself. I feel terrible. Okay, I'm over it now. But wow. Okay, if that's what he wants, if that's the cross you want to die on, as they used to say, that's entirely up to him. If you're going to lie about something, don't lie about something that can be proven. Fani Willis in front of that church said that I hired 3 people and I paid them all the same. And of course, it's a lie. We know it's a lie. It's been proven a lie. We know that there has been a huge disparity in the pay that they have all been all allocated. So what can you say? I mean, if you're going to lie, don't do it about something that can be proven. In a personal relationship, anybody that you have been around is going to have to take the stand, whether they want to or not. They're going to have to put their hand on the Bible and swear to tell the truth under penalty of perjury. And they're going to be faced with a choice: lie for my friend and take a chance on not seeing my kids grow up, at least for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the penalty for perjury, or I'm going to go ahead and tell the truth. I know what I would do. And here's something that's absolutely ironic as we get near the 1 hour mark here. Fani Willis and Nathan Wade are currently prosecuting people right now in that Rico case for perjury. Can you imagine that? They're going after these people to put them in a cage because of perjury. And you see where this is going with Sweet Fani and Mr. Nathan Wade. Ironic is what I call that. I don't know about you. What do you call that? All right. I want to show you one last thing here because we are going to run out of time. We will definitely meet again because I have a lot that I want to show you. There is this one part that is just too much to pass up. When they respond to these motions here, they always love to talk about, well, let's just put it this way. They filed like 160 some pages, the state did, in response to, just whatever's going on. As a matter of fact, I believe it's going to be in the same document. And what's cool about this is you see the picture of the attorney, Ashley Merchant, along with, or I should say she's campaigning on behalf of Nathan Wade. You know how these people are all together. And I told you that they all have personal relationships and stuff like that. That's what they all, I mean, it's normal. It's just the way it is in that particular family here. Kim, we need to stress to our friends to take this case in its totality. Absolutely, Kim. Avoiding church speed. Yeah, okay, I got you. And then thanks for keeping us informed. Enjoy you getting straight to the point. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's very, very good compliment. Like I said, I'm definitely newer at doing this. I only do it because I enjoy doing it. It gives me something to do. I enjoy trying to help people think for themselves. As I've said many times, you don't have to think like me. You just need to think for yourself. And it brings me a lot of satisfaction. And I feel good when I help others think for themselves. It's just the way it's always been for me. I don't know, maybe in another life I should have been a teacher because I enjoy helping people learn. I enjoy helping people figure things out for themselves. I mean, it brings me a lot of joy. I'm sure y'all have something that y'all enjoy doing, and it brings me joy. Let me show you this picture real quick, and then I'll get to the rest of the comments here. So thank you for your comment. Take a quick peek at this. It's just interesting how these people love the dogfight and go after each other. So let's pop this back up on screen one more time. Here we go. All right, take a look at this. I'm going to minimize myself here so y'all can see this. This is pretty hilarious. This is attorney Ashley Merchant the one that I just loved to pieces. And this is page 11 of the response from the state to the motion to have them thrown off the case. I know it starts getting confusing when you start going through those terms here, but you have, what is this? Ashley Barkas Merchant is at Marietta Greek Festival. If y'all never been to the Greek Festival there in Marietta, it's a lot of fun. Vote Nathan J. Wade, enjoying some Greek music while getting the word out. There she is with her little Greek, I don't know what you call it, like genie outfit. I don't know what the term is for that piece of clothing. But like I said, she's an attractive woman. She seems like a very intelligent woman. I think she is fantastic. One of her filings that she makes, she clearly states that had it not been, and we're going to get into this maybe tomorrow, if it had not been for her client hiring her, Mr. Michael Roman, all of this, in all likelihood, would have never seen the light of day. Can you imagine that they would have gotten away with all this? They would have gotten away with all this scot-free. None of this would have come to light. All their malfeasance, all their little illegal type of activities. It's called honest service fraud. That's another word for it. I got another word. It's just flat out corruption. I am certain that as they drill and as they dig, they're going to find all kinds of other little shenanigans, if you will, that have been going on. We'll just wait and see. I will say this. If I was Fani Willis, if I was Nathan Wade, I would not be sleeping too well. I don't know about you. I just wouldn't want to be in that. Okay, Rick, Fani Willis is not required to testify. The judge will determine if her testimony is regarded. Well, I did say that. I did say that. But in all likelihood, she's going to testify. So I understand you're pretty fixated on that. I'm telling you straight up, she'll be testifying. This attorney, Ashley Merchant, she's got the goods on her. I listened to the hearing. I don't know if you did. I listened to about an hour and a half hearing. I listened to the whole thing. She's got the goods on her. I can assure you this, the judge would not have ordered all of these witnesses. This Ashley Merchant won almost every witness she asked for to show up. The fact that the judge says, I'll make the final decision on Thursday, that is saying something to the strength of the case. And not only that, the judge, as you just saw in that one video, the quotes from the judge, he just said right outwardly, he said, there is some serious things to look at here. And if she's able to prove this, it is grounds at a minimum to have Fani Willis and her whole department removed off this case. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing. So before you throw that back up there, I am paraphrasing, but let's just see, and Rick, I appreciate your comment, my friend. I really do appreciate your comment. Appreciate your perspective. We may not see eye to eye on certain things, but that's okay. You're still my best friend number 2. Not a problem at all. All right, because Ray's number 1, so you'll be number 2 if you don't mind. Lenny, he's changed his story not only twice but 3 times. He's a liar, trying to cover up his trail. Yes, I agree. Ray, my buddy Ray, looking forward to yeah, you'll be hearing from me, Ray. Thank you for Charles. I appreciate you. Appreciate all of y'all. I really do. It's always my pleasure to come talk with y'all. Make sure if y'all, let me see, 50 Shades of BS. Okay, well, thank you for your perspective. They're not liberals, they're Marxists, and we should call them. Yeah, I agree. Listen, make sure if you're still with me, you might as well go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. You can do that for me. I think we're at 98. We got 191, 200 people right now. Let me see what's on the YouTube stream at least. Yeah, 190 people on YouTube as of right now. Y'all hit that button for me if you don't mind. That helps the algorithm, helps promote this as they show it to other people. And you might as well go ahead and smash that subscribe button. It makes me feel good, and they have everything gamified now. So when you hit the smash button, it should like shoot firecrackers or do something really cool, make you feel good about hitting that smash button. And as I always say, if you have a friend, a family member, a loved one that's indoctrinated, that's a disease, and I'm the cure. So go ahead and hit the share button and share this video with one of your friends that might suffer from the disease of indoctrination, because I'm here to help each and every one of you. Because as I've said earlier, when you understand better, you can live better. My friends, thank you so much. As I always say, keep that mind free, never give up. And until next time, I am J.R. Dukes.